Black people aren't just being policed, they're being over-policed, surveilled, and swept up like it's a full-time sport. It's not paranoia, it's the data talking. And in this video, top 5 ways Black people are over-policed in America, the truth they don't want you to know. We're diving headfirst into the uncomfortable, unfiltered reality that law enforcement would rather you ignore. Spoiler alert, this isn't about a few bad apples. It's about a system so tangled in systemic racism, racial profiling, and inequality, it makes a bowl of spaghetti look organized. While some folks are out here arguing whether police reform is even necessary, Black Americans are dealing with a justice system that treats their existence like a threat. From civil rights violations to police brutality that's become all too familiar, the problem isn't hidden, it's just hidden in plain sight. And guess what? This over-policing doesn't make communities safer. It just makes them feel like crime scenes. So if you care about social justice, human rights, or simply want to stop pretending this isn't happening, grab a seat. You're about to learn the truth they really don't want you to know. Hit that like button and subscribe to Virtual Travel by Brian. It's time we talk about it. Number 1. Stop and frisk disproportionately targets Black communities. Getting stopped just for existing. Welcome to the reality of stop and frisk in America, where being Black can feel like wearing a neon sign that says suspicious. And no, that's not an exaggeration. It's a cold, uncomfortable truth, backed by numbers that'll make your jaw drop. In New York City, over 80% of those stopped under the stop and frisk program were Black or Latino, even though they made up just about half of the population. That's not protect and serve. That's seek and harass. Now tell me, how does that math make sense? Are Black and brown folks secretly plotting in the streets while everyone else is out doing yoga and brunch? Or is there something deeply broken in the system? Because when someone gets stopped on their way to work, school, or the bodega for doing absolutely nothing but breathing while Black, you've got to ask, is safety really the goal, or is control? And here's the kicker. The vast majority of those stops lead nowhere. No weapons, no drugs, no outstanding warrants. Just thousands of innocent people stopped, searched, and humiliated because they fit the description, which somehow always ends up being young, Black, and male. That's not policing, that's profiling, dressed up in a badge and a quota. So how does this shape community trust? Spoiler, it doesn't. Imagine growing up in a neighborhood where the police aren't viewed as protectors, but as patrolmen waiting to pounce. How do you explain to a 13-year-old that getting stopped by cops on the way to school is just part of life? Stop and frisk wasn't designed to protect. It was designed to perform. Perform safety while ignoring the real issues. It's a tactic that turns neighborhoods into surveillance zones and neighbors into suspects. So here's the question. When the system keeps targeting the same communities, who's actually being protected and who's being punished just for showing up? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this isn't just a policy. It's a pattern. And patterns, when ignored, become the new normal. Number 2. Heavier police presence in Black neighborhoods. There are more squad cars rolling through some Black neighborhoods than there are ice cream trucks in the summer. And unlike the ice cream truck, the police aren't there to hand out treats. They're handing out citations, arrests, and court dates like candy on Halloween. We're not talking about the occasional patrol here and there. We're talking about constant surveillance, flashing lights on every other block, and sirens that double as lullabies for local kids. Why does it feel like law enforcement treats some Black communities like military zones? The presence is heavy. We're talking checkpoint here, patrol unit there, camera on every corner kind of heavy. And what's the result? Not safer neighborhoods, but a surge in arrests for things that barely make a ripple in wealthier areas. You think folks in the suburbs are getting cuffed for loitering outside Starbucks or throwing a loud birthday party? Please. Meanwhile, in over-policed neighborhoods, even breathing too loudly might raise eyebrows. This isn't about crime rates. It's about location, perception, and yes, race. Studies show that Black neighborhoods are disproportionately patrolled even when crime rates are comparable to or lower than those in whiter communities. So why the double standard? Why are minor infractions treated like major offenses based on zip code? Every time a squad car cruises slowly past a group of kids playing basketball, what message does that send? That they're being protected, or that they're being watched? That the police are allies, or just waiting for a reason to flip the sirens on? It doesn't take long before that kind of presence starts to feel like pressure. And pressure bursts pipes, or worse, trust. When a community sees more cops than counselors, more citations than second chances, how do you build anything close to mutual respect? Would anyone feel safe in a neighborhood where it seems like the police are always looking for something, even when nothing's happening? Or is the goal just to catch people slipping? Sound off in the comments, because this kind of policing doesn't just enforce the law, it reshapes lives. And not always for the better. Number 3. Racial profiling and traffic stops. You can follow every traffic law like your driving instructor is sitting in the passenger seat and still see flashing lights in the rearview mirror just because you're black. And no, it's not your imagination. Studies across multiple states confirm that black drivers are more likely to be pulled over, searched, and even have force used against them during routine traffic stops. Meanwhile, white drivers, who are statistically more likely to be carrying contraband, get the benefit of the doubt and a polite, "have a nice day." So, what's going on? Are turn signals suddenly suspicious? Is driving a newer car while black now a felony in some jurisdictions? Because the math ain't mathing. The data from places like North Carolina and Illinois consistently shows that police search black drivers at higher rates, even though those searches turn up less illegal stuff. So, are officers just bored? Or is racial profiling doing exactly what it was designed to do? Let's make it relatable. You ever been pulled over and had to instantly transform into the most cheerful, non-threatening version of yourself? You're grinning like a toothpaste commercial, hands glued to the wheel like it's covered in superglue, reciting, "Yes, officer," like you're auditioning for a role in Law & Order Please Don't Shoot Me edition. That's not being cautious, that's being conditioned. And don't forget the bonus round, getting asked, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" when they probably don't know themselves. Broken taillight? Air freshener on the mirror? Driving while not white enough? It's like a game show where the prize is maybe not getting arrested. Now ask yourself this: how can trust exist between black communities and law enforcement when traffic stops feel more like checkpoints than safety checks? What message does it send when skin color increases your odds of getting pulled over, but not your odds of doing anything wrong? This isn't about bad luck, it's about bad policy. And until that changes, a simple drive home will keep feeling like a high-stakes gamble for too many Americans. Number 4. School-to-prison pipeline. In some schools, detention means sitting quietly and writing an essay. In others, especially ones with a majority black student population, it can mean handcuffs, a court date, and a permanent file thicker than a high school textbook. Welcome to the school-to-prison pipeline, where the motto seems to be, "Why counsel when you can criminalize?" Black students aren't just being sent to the principal's office, they're being sent down a conveyor belt that starts with minor infractions and ends with mugshots. Nationwide, black kids make up only 15% of public school students, but account for nearly 40% of school suspensions. Same misbehavior, different consequences. So who decided that talking back in class should be treated like a felony? And it's not just suspensions. A growing number of schools now have school resource officers, basically police with clipboards, stationed on campus. Instead of de-escalating situations, they bring the justice system into the classroom. Fights, outbursts, or even disruptive behavior become criminal offenses. A bad day turns into a rap sheet. Is that how discipline is supposed to work? What kind of message does it send when a kid gets arrested before they've even had their first job interview? How do you teach success while treating your students like suspects? Are schools nurturing futures or funneling bodies into the system? White students act out, and it's chalked up to having a rough day. Black students act out, and suddenly it's threat to campus safety. The line between discipline and criminalization isn't just blurred, it's drawn in bold ink across color lines. Should schools feel like safe spaces or holding cells with textbooks? Because once a kid catches a charge in middle school, the odds of avoiding the system later in life shrink fast. They don't call it a pipeline for nothing. Once you're in, the track is greased. This isn't about improving education. It's about surveillance in a setting meant for growth. And while some kids get second chances, others get permanently marked by a system that mistakes childhood for criminal intent. Number 5. Use of force and deadly encounters. Walking away, standing still, sleeping, driving, or simply existing, those things shouldn't come with a risk of dying. But for Black Americans, they often do. Police encounters that end in deadly force aren't rare, they're terrifyingly routine. And no, this isn't wild conspiracy or media hype. The data says it plainly. Black Americans are nearly 3 times more likely than white Americans to be killed by police. That's not just a gap, it's a gaping wound in the promise of equal protection. Let's be honest, how many warning shots, tasers, or peaceful de-escalations do you see when the person is Black? Because the script seems different every time. Suspect is armed? Shoot. Unarmed? Still shoot. Complying? Shoot. Running away? Definitely shoot. Somehow, no matter the behavior, the outcome ends up the same. So what are Black folks supposed to do in a police encounter? Levitate? Be invisible? Or maybe carry a laminated resume and reference letter from a pastor? Because the standard advice, just comply, only works when the rules are actually applied equally. Is fear the excuse? Because trained officers shouldn't panic at the sight of melanin. And if someone's job is to assess threats, shouldn't they be able to tell the difference between a gun and a cell phone? Between resistance and confusion? Between danger and discomfort? Why are officers able to take down mass shooters alive, but can't manage to de-escalate a traffic stop with an unarmed Black man? Why do fatal shots happen faster than a greeting? It's not about split-second decisions, it's about split-level justice. The use of force doesn't just accidentally target Black lives over and over again. It's a pattern baked into a system that views Blackness as inherently threatening. Deadly force shouldn't be the first tool pulled from the belt. It should be the absolute last. But when some lives are treated as disposable, accountability disappears. What would policing look like if every life was valued the same? And more importantly, how many lives would still be here today? So, there you have it. The top 5 ways Black people are over-policed in America. And let's be clear, this isn't just about bad policies or outdated tactics. It's about lives disrupted, futures derailed, and communities forced to live under constant surveillance and suspicion. From classrooms to traffic stops to fatal encounters, the system isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. But that doesn't mean it can't be challenged. Change doesn't start in courtrooms or Congress. It starts with awareness, accountability, and people like you refusing to stay silent. So here's your part. Like this video if you believe in justice. Subscribe to Virtual Travel by Brian for more bold, honest conversations about race, justice, and the communities that deserve better. Drop a comment with your thoughts or personal experiences. We want to hear your voice. Together, we can rewrite the narrative. One view, one voice, one truth at a time.